Okay, so this is service aboard the Enterprise, which I think is a special one because the Enterprise was such a great carrier in World War II and accomplished so much in the Pacific Theater. But of course, the most poignant of them all would be the Purple Heart. You don't get the Purple Heart unless you're killed in action or wounded in action.
Terry Trick never knew her Uncle Howard.
There's tons and tons of pictures in here of Howard growing up and Howard when he was a kid and even when he was a baby.
But she knows a lot about him.
This is Howard Holding, and his mother, Ida Holding. My brother at 1.5 years. But these are my favorites because they are pictures of him and his family the last time he was home. And he was just about ready to ship out. So it was his last leave before he got on the Enterprise.
That was Thanksgiving, 1943.
He got killed. And he's our family's great tragedy.
According to the National World War II Museum, more than 418,000 Americans were killed during World War II. Nearly 72,000, 17%, are still unaccounted for. Terry's uncle was among them until just recently, when science finally provided some answers. Howard Holding was born in 1922 in Salt Lake City. At the age of 20, he enlisted in the Naval Reserves. After his commission and flight school the following year, he was assigned to Fighter Squadron 20.
There's the squadron. There's the squadron right there. Well, his squadron was called the Jokers.
Fitting for him?
Yeah, their symbol, of course, was the Joker on a deck of cards. I understand he had a great sense of humor and liked to play jokes on my grandmother and my mother.
Holding was stationed aboard the aircraft carrier Enterprise. He spent some time in Hawaii before shipping out.
This is him playing the saxophone in Pearl Harbor when he was stationed there.
But in the summer of 1944, Holding's stage became the Pacific Theater, where he saw plenty of action from the seat of his Hellcat fighter. His final mission came on September 6th over Yap, an island now part of Micronesia, a Japanese stronghold at the time. He was in a 3-plane formation doing recon, not expecting any resistance, and then came the anti-aircraft fire. Another pilot nearby wrote a letter to Holding's mother detailing what happened next.
As I pulled out of my dive, I looked back to see how the rest of the boys were faring. To my dismay, I noticed 2 planes crazily twisting downward vertically. Of course, each plane hit the island with a terrific force and immediately exploded.
Word was sent home via telegram. Holding was missing in action.
My Uncle Howard, Ensign Howard Holding, Ensign Joseph Cox, and Lieutenant Harry Brown. They all lost their lives that same morning.
It wasn't until after the war was over
That this crash site that I went to was Howard's, and that this is parts of Howard's plane here.
that military investigators recovered 4 sets of remains from the island. After some time in storage, the remains eventually made their way to the Philippines. All 4 were buried at the Manila American Cemetery as unknowns in 1950. And that's where they would rest for 70 years, until the military exhumed the remains for DNA testing in 2020.
And I got a call that said, are you Terry Trick?
The man on the other end was Pat Ranfrance. He'd been searching for his own uncle's plane on Yap. That's how he came across Howard's story.
Pat said, you really need to send your DNA to the Navy. And I said, why? They're never going to recover Howard. And he said, you still should send your DNA to the Navy just in case.
She did. And then Terry waited, not really expecting much as the years passed.
I know DNA lasts forever, but I was still wondering if they needed some more or what was going to happen. And it's a good thing that I had done that, because in June, they finally made the identification.
"81 years and 39 days after giving his life for his country, Holding arrived back in Salt Lake City last month. Terry and her son, also a veteran, were there to greet the plane. Howard was laid to rest at the Salt Lake City Cemetery with full military honors. Home at last.
Closure is an overworked word, but I look at it as the family is reading a story for 81 years. And we don't know how it's going to end, but we're reading this story. And then finally we get to the end of it because we find Howard and he comes home. And then we can close the book at the end of the story. So closing the book is closure. And that's the way I look at it.